Hello everyone and welcome to the channel and to the first ever episode of Talking Cartz. And this is going to be a series where I give my opinions on games as well as other news. And in this first episode we are going to be taking a look at Efootball 2022, as it does have quite a lot of controversy going on with it at the minute. So I'm going to take a quick look at the game, at what I do and don't like about this game, and then we're going to be talking about improvements as well as comparing it to the only sort of other option, which is FIFA. So I will say overall I do like the menu. I think it's alright, it does the job. It is fairly simple, and obviously at the moment it's made a lot simpler by the fact of you can only really sort of do two things, and that's play a match against a computer and then enter the current worldwide clubs tournament. One thing that was a nice surprise, if only the nice surprise, is the fact that you can play as more than 12 teams. In the Challenge Cup you can pretty much play as any team in the Premier League of each country. Unfortunately, I will say there isn't a lot to do right now in the game. Playing the tournament will net you 20k for my club, or my team as it's now called, but as we all know that won't be coming until November. So onto the gameplay then. I will actually be playing this game on the channel, and I will be doing a video in future giving some tips and tricks on how to actually play the game. So next, let's take a look at the sort of overall presentation of the game, and one thing I am impressed with. There we go, about 6 seconds and we're straight into the game. Not only that, I was instantly able to change it from one stadium to another, as well as switching from day to night. Weather options are currently unavailable, so I wasn't able to test those, but I did think that this was a really nice way of sort of setting up the game. After you've set up the game, you're treated to a bit of a cutscene of all the players showing up in the suits. There's David De Gea with his lunchbox. When you're choosing your kits, it's now a sort of shirt in the locker room, which again I thought was a really nice touch. Also, we get another cutscene in the game plan menu this year, rather than just looking at a boring menu. This is the new game plan menu, which I'm gonna say I'm not overly impressed with. I feel like they've tried to make it simpler but somehow made it way more complicated. Especially for someone who's played PES before, it's sort of left to right rather than sort of down and up. And then the substitutes and the reserves are just sort of in a messy list underneath. I think it's fair to say that the graphics don't look the best, especially up close, but they do look way better than I was expecting. And far away at least, which is what you're going to be seeing most of the time, the game looks acceptable for now. I think a graphical improvement quickly would definitely help the game, along with obviously a few other things that we're now going to go into gameplay wise. So for knocking the ball around, it is extremely hard. You do have to get your power bang on, but you are helped this year with a sort of arrow to show you where you're actually aiming. Previous PES games always have been quite hard, and I do feel compared to other football games it is sort of trying to be more realistic, and hopefully somewhere down the line it can get there. I do feel like the speed of the game maybe could be a little bit quicker overall. One good thing that they have done that does need a little bit of work is the fact of the ball doesn't seem to be glued to your player. It seems sort of very free, which I feel if they can get it right is going to give a lot of variations to the games, and it's not going to feel like the same game every time, just going back and forth. The big problem I do have with this game at the moment is the shooting. it does feel very, very, very random. In previous PES games I felt like I could actually aim for the corner I wanted to aim for, whereas on this it's sort of aim your player at the goal and hope for the best. So onto the defending then, which is fairly difficult in a way. This is probably one thing along with shooting that needs great improvement. There is a lot of different ways to defend. You have your sort of standard button to square up to the player, as well as a button to sort of stick your leg into tackle like that, as well as also being able to sort of use a more physical tackle, which I do like. It allows you sort of here to sort of run the ball off the opponent if you're stronger than them, and that is down to sort of, again, how the ball doesn't sort of glue to the player's feet. I did find slide tackling fairly responsive. I just think overall the defending is a little bit confused. You sort of muscle people off the ball sometimes and it is a blatant foul and it doesn't give it, and then other times it can be a foul for the most pathetic things you've ever seen. The first game I had, I was ready to say that it's way too easy to score as I won something like 5-0, but then when I actually came to recording, I think I only scored 1 goal in 2 games, which I think sort of supports my comment earlier about the shooting being a little bit random. And the 2 games I played did actually come to penalties. One quick tip I can give you is if you're not sure where you're aiming, you can press RB and that does bring up a little target to make it a little more easier. After the game you get another cutscene which actually shows you the man of the match, which again I thought was a really nice touch. Overall I feel like PES does have some good foundations, but it is far from complete, which anybody looking into this game before release was quite aware of how the game was going to go, and I think that is the massive point that everybody else does seem to be missing, as now this would probably be the stage where I say to you, should you buy this game or not? And that is the main point, that this game is actually free. And one reason at the moment why I do have some trust in Konami is the fact that last year's game, they came out and said that they'd not updated it that much from the year before, and I think it was up at maybe £25 compared to your sort of £60 copy and paste alternative. I also hope that this does show that Konami is sort of wanting people to play the game, give them feedback so that they can improve it for the people that want to play it. The other thing that hopefully is going to help the game as well is the fact that real footballers are helping out with the gameplay of the game. Honestly, I really do think that PES are going the right way about this. There is obviously going to be a lot of updates to come, and everything won't even be in the game for another 2 months anyway. I just think unfortunately they've done this at a bad time. We're very much living in a world right now where people want things right now and they're not really willing to wait. And you also don't need to look far on YouTube to see that negative videos easily get way more views than anything that's positive, which I think is a real shame. If you don't have anything good to say about anything, then just don't say anything at all. I'd rather hear about something that you do like rather than something that you don't. Naturally, throughout this video I have had to mention FIFA, and if you do play FIFA then good for you. I'm happy that you enjoy playing it, and that's about it really. I'm gonna also guess that you have a rather large wallet, and again I think that's something that's not helping any game right now, is the fact that there's a lot of very popular YouTubers making videos of them just opening packs after packs after packs and clearly spending daft amount of money, which again, if that's what you want to spend your money on, I have no problem with that. I just feel like gaming should be about how good you are at a game. I do just quickly want to mention that I am a person who enjoys football games overall. You can look here on the channel. We've played PES and FIFA. I did sort of start playing PES 6 when I was extremely young. And then I think by FIFA 13 I'd gone to FIFA, and then I played FIFA up until FIFA 18. And then that's when I turned to PES, which was a really good year to turn to PES. That was probably the best PES we've had in a while. And for me, I just feel like FIFA hasn't changed now in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, and just stays to be this game where money talks. And like I also said previously, I feel like it's a fairly easy game to play. It's pretty arcadey. And I'm not really into that. Again, if you look at the racing games that we play on the channel, I do enjoy the sort of racing simulations over the arcades. So I think that's about it for this video. This game again is going to be getting a lot of updates in the future, so I will be coming back to take a look at the changes at some point, as well as doing a few gameplays. If you haven't tried PES 2020 out for yourself, then go and download it off the store, as again it is free. This has been the first episode of Talking Cartz. There will be more to come in the future, but until then, I'll catch you in the next one.